Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Dr. Shahana. We are learning the pharmacy practice. Our today's topic is the sickle cell anemia. What is sickle cell disease? Sickle cell disease is an autosomal recessive disorder that due to the point mutation in the beta globulin chain in the hemoglobin. The name of the disease is based on the appearance of the blood cells that is sickled, that resembles an agricultural tool. It is a hereditary condition. We have several types of the sickle disease, and most commonly it is common in the Africa and the Middle East. It is common also in the India, in the Mediterranean. The carrier state is more common as compared to the disease state. So what is the etiology? Etiology is that the patient have different types of the altered hemoglobin. The hemoglobin called as the hemoglobin S. The normal hemoglobin is designated as the hemoglobin A, while hemoglobin S has a valine portion, that is valine is substituted for glutamic acid as the sixth amino acid in the beta polypeptide as compared to the normal hemoglobin. The patient may be a homozygous hemoglobin, that is having the dual gene that develops the mainly problem of the anemia. If we talk about the sickle cell triad, in which their person is a carrier, it is a heterozygous sickle cell gene problem, and usually these patients are asymptomatic. The newborn baby of those sickle cell triad people of the father and the mother has a chance of having this sickle cell disease in about 1 in 4. For better understanding of the pathophysiology, we first revise the structure of the hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is a red pigment in the blood. It consists of a protein component and the iron complex of a 4-furan derivative. So hemoglobin is a combination of the globin part, which is a protein part, and a hemochromogen part, which is the iron complex. Hemoglobin is a basically quaternary structure. It consists of 2 pairs of different proteins designated as alpha and beta chains, and there are about 141 and 146 amino acid in alpha chain, while 146 amino acid in the beta chain. The myoglobin is there, which is linked covalently to the molecule of the heme. One hemoglobin can bind to the 4 oxygen molecules. The 2 identical alpha chains and 2 identical beta chains are arranged tetrahedrically. They are producing the structure in hydrophobic interactions. There may be a hydrogen bonding and there are hydrogen pairs. You can see that there is an alpha chain and there is a beta chain. Each hemoglobin molecule is made up of 4 hemoglobin groups. This hemoglobin groups. So 1 accounts for the bind with 1 oxygen. So 4 units bind with the 4 oxygens. By this iron-rich protein, blood cells are capable to produce or to transfer the oxygen from lungs to the rest of the cells in the tissues and the organs of the body. Even the point mutation in this hemoglobin structure causing the sickle cell disease, that is the substitution of the valine from the glutamic acid as the 6th amino acid in the beta globulin chain. Beta globulin chain में valine जो है वो substitute कर दिया है glutamic acid को, that lead to the sickle cell disease. The resulting tetramer become poorly soluble when deoxygenated, resulting in a rope-like structure, crystallized fiber that elongate and decreasing the oxygen carrying capacity, causing the distortion of the erythrocyte, and it convert into a crescent or sickle shaped cells. So this is the changing in the structure. Here initially there was a glutamic acid. Now in the sickle cell hemoglobin there is a valine at 0.6. That changing in the beta subunit, that changing in the elongation in the arrangement of the beta subunit, and this changing will lead to the change in the shape of the RBCs. The most problematic condition of the sickle cell anemia is the distortion and the vaso-occlusive crisis, decreased oxygen access to the heme, sickling of the erythrocyte that lead to the microvascular obstruction, increased adherence to the endothelium, free plasma hemoglobin that scavenged the nitric oxide, also causing the vasoconstrictions. How it is diagnosed? Usually it is diagnosed in the first year of the life The patient have a chronic hemolytic anemia intersected with the several crises. Abnormal hemoglobin can be detected using the electrophoresis. Furthermore, there will be a DNA-based testing, as the abnormal hemoglobin S is a useful monitoring parameter. Along with the DNA evaluation, we have a PCR, polymerase chain reaction based reactions, which give exact composition of the hemoglobin. As there is a continuous hemolysis, regular ferritin should be determined to identify the need of the deferoxamine therapy, and for the monitoring purpose after the diagnosis of the SSD disease, there should be a regular checking of the ferritin. Methods may differ at the age of the person. After the birth, there may be a hemoglobin electrophoresis. There may be a testing of the hemoglobin S. There may be a testing of the peripheral blood smear. There are now very sophisticated techniques available for the testing of the hemoglobin, like high performance liquid chromatography, isoelectric focusing, capillary electrophoresis. On this basis of the diagnosis, one can differentiate different types of the anemias of the sickle cells, like it may be a sickle cell anemia, it may be a sickle cell associated thalassemia, it may be a sickle cell hemoglobin C disease, it may be a sickle cell B thalassemia, or it only be the sickle cell trial or normal, and depending upon the percentage available in our patient profile, we can determine the exact type of the hemoglobin in the blood cells. In sickle cell anemia, there is a very less percentage of hemoglobin A, while S is about 75 to 95%. The classical example of the sickle cell anemia, as it is a thalassemia, the percentage high up to 92%. In sickle cell hemoglobin C, the percentage is low. However, there is a more hemoglobin F percentage, and there will be another type of hemoglobin patient, which is about 45 to 50%. Sickle cell trial is asymptomatic, having both type of the hemoglobin, like hemoglobin A and hemoglobin S, while normally hemoglobin A is about 95 to 98%, and there will be no hemoglobin S and there will be no hemoglobin T. However, there will be HbA2 that is about less than 3.5%. What are the symptoms of the sickle cell anemic person? It usually occur in the early of the life, be a crisis of the fever, infection, dehydration, hypoxia, acidosis. There may be a microangiopathies that lead to the deposition of the infarction in the blood vessels, in the bones, in the joints, in the lungs, in the brain, and there may be a severe pain that is a common factor of at the site of the infarction. There may be a destruction of the bone and the joints. It is a very, very complicated problem. There may be a higher risk of the morbidity and the mortality due to the compromised spleen function. If this disease is produced, the complications are too much there. There will be a pain, there will be an infection, there will be an anemia, CNS effects, there may be a pulmonary effects, there may be a renal effects, skeletal effects, cardiac effects, hepatobiliary problems, ocular problems, obstetric problems, genitourinary problems, and other problems. Initially, the pain is a very bad complication of the SSD presentation. Initially, self-imitating, or it may be a problem due to vaso-occlusive events. If it is a problem of vaso-occlusive events, it is a potentially life-threatening problem. The pain episode can begin as early as 6 months of the age and typically last throughout the life. The placebo cannot be used, and the pain should be managed. If the patient is can be managed at the home, then analgesic should be prescribed. These are the acute pain crises that are associated with the several types of chest syndromes, multi-organ failure, sudden death, surgical abdomen in case of the cholecystitis, in case of necrosis, in case of the hemolytic transfusion reactions, in case of opioid withdrawals. This type of pain cannot be managed at home, and here we have strong analgesics have to be given. In case of the chronic pain, there is a experience by a large percent of the patient. Different mechanisms are there due to the damage of the bone and the joints, due to the chronic ulcers, due to the lesser pain threshold, or the central sensitizations due to the hyperalgesia effect, or there may be a altered void metabolism. Along with the pain, there will be a depression, that has to be managed. Multiple infections are there, either viral infections or malaria, that is mainly common in the children worldwide in sickle cell disease. Infection is one of a major cause of the morbidity and the mortality. So, in the initial 5 years of the patient is prescribed with the empirical therapy of the antibiotics like penicillin V. These are the some reasons that lead to the infections like the functional hyposplenism, asplenism. There may be a increased risk of the reduced tissue perfusion due to the swelling, due to the hypoventilations. Infections are there. High-grade infections are there like bacteremia, meningitis, or the pulmonary infections like pneumonia, along with the leukocytosis or pancytopenia, along with the fits and seizures, headaches. There may be signs of the disseminated intravascular coagulations due to the prolongation of the PT-APTT time. There may be a decreased fibrinogen or increased D-dimer. The organ failure may be there, that is a lethal one, and it is a life-threatening condition death due to the ischemia or the infarction. There is an chronic anemia, that is due to the compensation of the hemolytic anemia. There may be a aplastic crisis, there may be a splenic resistant crisis, there may be a hyperhemolytic crisis. Along with the sickle cell anemia, there may be a low levels of the erythropoietins, low levels of the folates, and there may be the iron deficiency. The lifespan of the RBC reduced up to 17 days. There will be a compensatory mechanism to increase the RBC production. Typical finding is that normally hemoglobin levels found between 8 to 10 gram per deciliter. Hematocrit is about 20 to 30%. There will be a polymomatosia. There may be a reticulocytosis. Cells are sickled. Mildly there is increasement in the WBC count, or there may be a normal RBCs, or along with the deficiency of iron. Aplastic crisis may be there due to the acute drop in the hemoglobin levels that are caused by the transient arrest of the erythropoietins. It should be managed by the transfusions. Splenic sequestration crisis may lead to the hypovolemic shock and the death, and it is again a problematic condition. Here we have to remove the spleen. Splenectomy has to be performed after the first acute event to prevent the recurrence. There may be a stroke, there may be a transient ischemic attack, or there may be a stroke. Here we have to stop the prophylactic transfusion. There may be a seizures, that is more common in the sickle cell disease. This may be due to the reversible encephalopathy or due to the stroke. There may be an acute chest syndrome. These are the pulmonary complications. There may be GP, hypoxemia, wheezing, cough or respiratory distress, infections, thromboembolisms. There may be alteration of the fat embolism. There may be episode of the acute coronary syndromes. Here we have to use the prophylactic antibiotics, and we have to use hydroxyureas, and we have to use transfusions. At the end, we have to consider the hemopoietic cell transplantation for those if the donor are available. So there may be a sleep disorder, breathing problem, pulmonary fibrosis, asthma, or pulmonary hypertension. These are some skeletal complications like osteoporosis, osteomyelitis, dactylitis in infants, and avascular necrosis. Cardiac complications are the cardiomyopathy and the heart failure due to the pulmonary hypertension, due to chronic anemia, due to iron overload, due to hypertension. In case of hepatobiliary complication, there may be a cholestasis, stasis of the bile, hepatic sequestration crisis, transfusional iron overload, pigmented gallstones, hepatitis C virus infections. There may be a leg ulcer due to the compromised blood flow to the periphery. There may be endothelial dysfunction. There may be thrombosis, inflammation, and delayed healing. More common in the males as compared to females. Post-traumatic potentially lead to the super infections. Retinopathy is there. If it gets pregnant, there will be pregnancy complications of the intrauterine growth restrictions. There may be a fetal death, low birth weight, maternal problems. There may be a chest pain in the mother, eclampsia attacks. There may be a thromboembolic events. Here we have to counsel the females. We have to control the birth. We have to maintain the pregnant woman on the folic acid. We have to properly screen the bacteria and the fetal growth. Prophylactic transfusion and the postpartum anticoagulations should be considered in the cesarean delivery. Another problem occur in the male is the painful persistent continuous erection that lead to the permanent erectile dysfunction. That condition is due to the trapping of the blood in the penis. It is unable to drain out without the sexual stimulations. There will be a venous thromboembolism, a condition in which a blood clot forms more often in the deep veins of the legs or in the arm, lead to the deep venous thrombosis, or it may travel in the circulation, that blogging the lungs, known as the pulmonary embolism. It is due to the hypercoagulable states, and here we have to use certain types of anticoagulants and the warfarins along with the heparins. There will be a frequent underweight, growth retardation as compared to the normal height. There will be often delayed puberty. There may be a psychological problems in the baby. Now, how it is managed? It is a very problematic disease. Treatment is based on around the supportive care, managing the pain, preventing the infections, and we have to modify the hemoglobin condition from hemoglobin S to the hemoglobin F analogs and avoiding the crisis. Usually the treatment starts with the birth, and here the newborn has to be start with the prophylactic use of the penicillin in the newborn, specifically for the period of the 5 years. There may be a blood transfusions for those who are at risk of the strokes. If it is a sickle cell crisis, it needs a prompt and effective treatment, removal of the triggering factor, hydration, and effective pain management, along with the use of the antibiotics. You have to counsel the patient, you have to encourage the patient, you have to use the penicillin, you have to use the folic acid. And extreme analgesia is required because of the extreme pains. So there may be opioid addictions. A therapy should be started in such a way, if the patient is allergic to the penicillin, the patient is switched to the erythromycin or now azithromycin. Adequate hydration should be maintained. We have to reduce the sickle hemoglobin production by increasing the production of the fetal hemoglobin, and the hope for the patient is that it basically increase HPF production up to 2-fold via changing in the drugs. हमारे पास कुछ drugs हैं जो कि hemoglobin F की production को बढ़ाती हैं. By this we can reduce the sickling, we can increase the lifespan, we can improve the RBC hydration, we can decrease the hemolysis and we can prevent the microcirculation blood flow and decrease the vaso-occlusive events. So the therapy is start with the hydroxyurea, which is immunosuppressive agent having a tendency to produce hemoglobin F instead of hemoglobin S. Baseline hemoglobin F should be measured, and then after 2 to 3 months, the dose should be titrated depending upon the needs. It decreases the hemolysis, it decreases the nitric oxide levels, and it basically decreases the density with more mature RBC, and they are also facilitate the movement of the RBC during the microcirculations. They decrease the WBC count and neutrophils, and they decrease the adhesiveness. They decrease the inflammatory reactions and pain productions. Depending upon the creatinine clearance, initial dose is set. If the creatinine clearance is more than 60 ml per minute, the dose will be the 15 to 20 mg per kg per day. The dose can be increased up to 8 weeks, and the maximum dose is about 35 mg per kg per daily or 2500 mg daily. Dose is adjusted based upon the maximum tolerable dose of the drug. Here, for the management of the dose, absolute neutrophil count should be more than 15,000 to 3,000. Platelet count should be more than 80,000. Hemoglobin should be more than 8 gram per deciliter, and reticulocyte count should not be more than 80,000 to 1 lakh microliter. What are the adverse effects of the hydroxyurea? It is a myelosuppressive agent. It can cause the GI upset, and it is a cytotoxic. It can produce oral ulcer, hyperpigmentation may be there. There may be a rash, there may be a nail changes. Hydroxyurea can be continued during the admission but does not need to be initiated while hospitalized. It is a teratogenic, so contraceptive should be counseled. It should be discontinued 3 months prior to the pregnancy. It may be not the mother may be breastfeed, but should be avoided during the breastfeeding. Male should also discontinue 6 months prior to the conceptions due to the androgenic effects. One more important caution will be considered with the hydroxyurea that there may be a lack of response. It is not necessary that every time hydroxyurea can work. So careful assessment and the compliance should be monitored, and there should be a continuous monitoring of the levels of the hemoglobin F, or mean cell volume should be more than 100. Usually 20 to 30% adults have the ability to having the lack of the efficacy, and there is no benefits in continuing the therapy. Here we have to stop the hydroxyurea. Indari is L-glutamine oral powder that is prescribed about 0.6 gram per kg per day, maximum 30 gram divided twice a day. It is our first new medication for the SSD in 20 years, and it is at the phase 3 trial for the sickle cell anemia that shows the improvement in the symptoms of the sickle cell disease. Adverse effects are similar with that case of the hydroxyurea. However, results are beneficial. These are certain other drugs that are vivipenicillin and the triazolizumab and monoclonal antibodies that also associated with the reduction of the painful vaso-occlusive crisis of the sickle cell disease. Preventive measures: hydroxyurea is used. Several vaccination or aggressive vaccination should be considered, like for the influenza, meningococcus, for hepatitis A, B, measles, rubella, varicella, rotavirus, influenza, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, poliovirus, etc. Other comorbidities should be screened, like for hypertension, for cerebral complications, for retinopathy, lung disease. All these should be properly managed. Leg ulcer, bone health should be carefully evaluated. Folic acid supplement should be continued with the vitamin D. If it is a transfusion need, then there should be a proper rationale for the transfusions, that we have to dilute the hemoglobin S with the transfused hemoglobin A blood. क्या करें कि hemoglobin S available है, hemoglobin A नहीं है, तो हम dilute कर रहे हैं blood को hemoglobin A से. That also suppresses the erythropoietin release, thus it reducing the production of the newer HbS containing cells. It decreases the percentage of the hemoglobin S containing cells due to the longer lifespan of the hemoglobin A, and it also increases the hemoglobin oxygen saturation levels by approximately 1 to 6%, which also improve the oxygen delivery to the tissue. Transfusion is a good choice. In case of emergency, acute therapeutic transfusion is acutely needed for the treatment of the vaso-occlusive phenomena that accompanied by the severe anemia that are not adequately compensated by the increased red cell production. In case of acute stroke, acute chest syndrome, acute multi-organ failure, a drop in the baseline of the reticulocytes count. Sometimes transfusion is used prophylactically, that reduces the peri-operative complication of the patient that undergoing the surgery, and they also reduces the incidence of the vaso-occlusive complications. These are some other indications for the prophylactic needs of the transfusions. Transfusion may be simple, or transfusion may be exchanged, in which the normal blood of the person is removed. Pain management is a very important part of the treatment. There may be an allergic reactions along with the pain. We have to minimize and treat the opioid complications. We try to manage the lower type of the drugs with the NSAIDs and then go up to the levels of the opioids. We have to minimize the and treat the opioid complications like constipations, like sedations, pruritus, hypoventilations. For the management of chronic pain, we can use the imitinib, that is the inhibitor of the mast cells. And furthermore, we have a mast cell stabilizer like cromolyn. It also increases the analgesic efficacy of the low-dose morphine. Sometimes NSAIDs can be used. You must remember that we cannot use napridine and ketorolac due to the potential toxicities and the lack of the additional beneficial effects. Another point is the hematopoietic cell transplantation, that is a potentially curative and usually found beneficial if the age of the patient is less than 16. What are the barriers? If the patient eligibility is limited because of the advanced symptomatic disease, if it is involved in the pulmonary and neurological vasculopathy, then difficult to manage. If there is treatment-induced malignancy chances, again difficult to manage. These are the sickle cell disorder in which the patient carries at least one hemoglobin S gene mutations. Here, different types of sickle cell diseases are also there. What is the hemoglobin C disease? In this, there is a substitution of lysine for glutamic acid at 6 position in the beta chain, and the condition is more or less similar to the sickle cell anemia. There will be a formation of the crystal that leading to the increased blood viscosity, cellular rigidity. Usually it is present along with the sickle cell anemia. Among the all complications of the sickle cell disease, in hemoglobin C disorder, there will be problem in the osteonecrosis. There may be life expectancy about 45 years, less pregnancy complications, and there may be a higher incidence of the peripheral retinopathy. Other complications are less as compared to these complications. This is the peripheral blood smear condition in which hemoglobin S condition, in which you can see that the patient have a numerous target vessels. They are partially sickled, not completely sickled. You can see complete sickling nahi hai, partial sickling hai, and they are folded one. Sickle cell disorder is also include the thalassemia. Thalassemia is a group of inherited autosomal recessive disorder that is characterized by the reduction or absent production of one or more globin chains. जो globin chains हमने अभी देखी थी amino acids की, वो एक या तो बिल्कुल होगी नहीं, या there is a reduced production of the globin, and there may be a thalassemia minor or there may be a thalassemia major. So, alpha thalassemia is most commonly occur in Africa, in Southeast Asia and East Mediterranean, while the beta thalassemia is mostly found in the North and West Africa and the India subcontinent. Beta thalassemia is the impaired production of the beta globulin chains that leading to the relative excess of the alpha globulin chains. Divided into the sickle cell beta thalassemia and sickle cell thalassemia can be partially associated with each other. Beta thalassemia is more serious one, and it is basically inversely proportional to the quantity of the hemoglobin A. Sickle cell beta thalassemia means there is no HbA production or have a clinical course as severe as simple hemoglobin sickle cell disease. However, there is no rapid splenic infarction and there may be a enlargement in the adulthood. Sometimes sickle cell beta thalassemia is more benign course due to the low production of the HbA, यानी कभी-कभी थोड़ा सा HbA होता भी है, तो depending upon the severity कि हमें देखना होगा कि कितना टाइप का thalassemia है. Then we have the alpha thalassemia, and in this alpha thalassemia there is alpha globin chain problem impairment leading to the excess formation of beta globin. The clinical manifestations are less severe with that of the sickle cell disorder. Milder anemia, and it is basically considered as the thalassemia minor. There are other disorders also that are the pancellular or hypocellular, that is due to the sickle hereditary persistent of fetal hemoglobin, and we will not discuss, just we will go through the name. This is all about the sickle cell disorder. Thank you.